There once was a man whose lifelong dream was to board a cruise ship and sail the Mediterranean Sea. He dreamed of walking the streets of Rome, Athens, and Istanbul. He saved every penny until he had enough for his passage. Since money was tight, he brought an extra suitcase filled with cans of beans, boxes of crackers, and bags of powdered lemonade, and that is what he lived on every day. He would have loved to take part in the many activities offered on the ship, working out in the gym, playing miniature golf, and swimming in the pool. He envied those who went to movies, shows, and cultural presentations. And oh, how he yearned for only a taste of the amazing food they saw on the ship. Every meal appeared to be a feast. But the man wanted to spend so very little money that he didn't participate in any of these. He was able to see the cities he had longed to visit, but for the most part of the journey, he stayed in his cabin and ate only his humble food. On the last day of the cruise, a crew member asked him which of the farewell parties he would be attending. It was then that the man learned that not only the farewell party, but almost everything on board the cruise ship, the food, the entertainment, all the activities had been included in the price of the ticket. Too late, the man realized that he had been living far beneath his privileges.
Welcome to the Carnal Conservative, guys. And this little special episode is about how to check your white privilege. And as mentioned in the clip previous to this, we are going to be discussing not just how to check your white privilege, but the phenomenon that we have about living and being happy, apparently, about living beneath this privilege that we have. Take the man who went on this cruise ship. He dreamed of walking the streets of antiquity, Rome, Athens, Istanbul. He saved every penny. We might suggest that this is symbolic of the sacrifices that whites have made for their civilizations, for the greatness of Britain and America respectively, and other places where freedom and Western values are extolled. However, we seem to have held ourselves back. And this is represented in the man bringing a suitcase of his own food, that ethic of self-reliance and those traditions and values that we wanted to safeguard rather than impose for some bizarre reason that we would want to merely keep to ourselves. And his neglect in not joining in the festivities, the shows, the cultural presentations, the swimming pool. He neglected culture and society at large. And he was afraid to venture out of his cabin for fear that he might injure or damage or overuse and abuse his resources, his traditions, and these values that he put up on a shelf, essentially, and let deteriorate over time. He was, however, we must recognize, permitted to leave his cabin to engage in looking at antiquity. He was permitted to celebrate the past. He did participate in what can only be called empty parades and reviled pageantry. But he was preferred out of sight in his cabin, eating his own bland and safe sustenance, looking back on the days of yore, as it were. Here's the point. His ticket. The every penny saved, the sacrifices that his people and his family who came before him, the price that they paid is worth the entire experience. It is worth having the right, the privilege, we might say, of engaging with, shaping, and exercising authority in both culture and society. And here's the best part about it. The cruise for us isn't over. And so, in conclusion, I am simply going to give you a few points on how to properly check your white privilege. 1, learn to love what you adore about your nation and your people. Without any reservation, you have no need to apologize for those who have gotten where you are and those parts of them that you want to preserve or promote. That is your privilege. 2, remember the price and effort required to build your nation and promote your people. That is your privilege. And thirdly, we check our white privilege perfectly when we resolve to never live beneath our privilege and engage in culture and exercise our due right to exercise authority in society. And so, gentlemen, carnalites, ladies, check your white privilege.